What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning last night's heavyweight title fight between Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua. Guys, before we get started, I want to say thank you to all the new fans, all the new subscribers. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. Could you please hit the notification button now? What that'll allow me to do every time I put something out new. If you like what I create, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. Last night in England at Wembley Stadium, we had Riyadh Season UK highlighted by the heavyweights, Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua. This was fought in front of 98,000 plus, breaking records. Riyadh Season UK was a massive success. And I have to be honest with you guys, if you're out there saying that you could have predicted this fight to end how it did, kudos to you. I didn't talk to many people who had Dubois winning this fight, let alone winning by knockout. If you followed the lead up to this fight, you would have heard a lot of interviews by boxing pundits, the fighters, their adversaries, their former opponents, and so many people were talking about how Dubois had a good jab. He had a puncher's chance, but as this fight would progress, Anthony Joshua was going to win this fight just because he had more skills, more class, and better opponents throughout his career. And that couldn't have been more wrong. Guys, we do know boxing is one of these sports. We talk about momentum a lot. Whether you get on top early or you get behind early, not every fighter is able to come back once they're forced to become the nail. Some guys, when they're the hammer, they always look good, they're on top, and they win their fights. But when adversity sets in, it's hard for them to come back from the dead. And this was the case last night. Dubois jumped on Anthony Joshua early and dropped him in the first round, and AJ never seemed to recover. Guys, I must state this though. Cheers to Anthony Joshua, not only for what he's done for the heavyweight division, what he's done for the UK boxing, what he's done in his career. He fought valiantly last night. He fought with a lot of heart. And in that fifth round, when the fight ended, he showcased that he was going to go out and either change the tide, turn the tide to the fight, or he was going to get knocked out. And we know how the fight ended. Dubois came out firing in the opening frame and knocked Joshua down in the closing seconds of the first round with an overhand right hand. At the end of 2 rounds, Dubois had landed 18 power punches and Joshua had only landed 5. Dubois scored his second knockdown in the 3rd round. Joshua landed a left hook at the beginning of the 4th round, only to be shaken again by the Dubois jab and eventually knocked down again. In a desperate attempt to change the tide of the fight, AJ tried to jump on Dubois in the opening seconds of the 5th. Joshua seemed to stun and back up Dubois, but a Dubois counterpunch put Joshua down and out at 59 seconds of the 5th round. The final stats reflect a one-sided drubbing. Dubois landed more than twice as many total punches than Joshua. Joshua threw 35 total power punches throughout the whole fight. Dubois landed 49 power punches and scored 4 knockdowns. Guys, what we're going to do is talk about the total punches thrown, talk about percentages, the jabs thrown, those percentages, and the power shots. And these are the stats that help tell the story of the fight. When you look at the total punches thrown, Anthony Joshua throws 117 and lands 32 at a 27% clip. Dubois threw 196 and landed 79 at a 40% clip. And this was the story of the fight. Whenever Dubois hurt AJ was never fully able to recover. We've seen AJ in wars throughout the length of his career. Dubois was the younger guy going into the fight, and a lot of the boxing pundits were saying that youth would serve a factor if Dubois would be able to overcome AJ and win, and that's exactly what we saw. AJ tried to give as much as he got, but he just wasn't landing and he wasn't throwing as much. The jab story is the one that kind of shocked me. I thought AJ was going to start using the jab and landing more, and this was going to be the tell of the fight. But when he got dropped at the end of that first round, he was never able to come back. When you look at the total jabs thrown, AJ throws 82, lands 18 at a 22% clip. Dubois threw 100, landing 30 at a 30% clip. And these are heavyweights, 6'6" and 6'5". When you get caught with that jab and you don't see the right hand coming, it's going to spell trouble for anybody. The one thing I could say about AJ, I was kind of shocked in a sense of his technique, especially in the firefight. We've seen AJ show multiple styles throughout his career. What he was doing with Dubois that I didn't quite understand was he was backing up with his chin high, and he got caught a few times and got dropped. And then when he had Dubois pushing back, he dropped his guard, and that's when he got countered with the right hand and got knocked out. I'd like to see him kind of clean his defense up and keep that high guard. When you're fighting a guy who's equally your size at 6'5", 6'6", all he has to do is touch the chin and you're going to go down. And that's exactly what happened. The power punches told the story of the outcome. Anthony Joshua throws 35, landing 14 at a 40% clip. Dubois throws 96, landing 49 at a 50% clip. Dubois almost triples the total power punches thrown and almost triples the total power punches landed. And like we always talk about the heavyweights, you don't have to land a lot to get the outcome you want when you're that big. Dubois has a punch on him. Everybody talked about his jab, but my take-home point is that right hand and his calmness. This was a guy who came out with something to prove. It looked from the onset that he was not going to be denied. We also have to remember, this is 2 fights in a row now for Dubois. The Hrgovic fight and the AJ fight, where he goes into it as an underdog and he comes out victorious. I think now at 27 years old, it's safe to say he's on his way of becoming the new face of the division. There's a lot of matchups to talk about. There's a lot of potential fights to happen. We know the big one is taking place in a few months with Fury and Usyk. Dubois will just wait his turn and see what's next for him. Another big question is, what does AJ do at 34? He's been in some wars. He's taken a lot of shots. This is another brutal loss in which he got knocked out. So we'll let the dust and smoke clear and do a video later on and talk about maybe what's next for AJ and Dubois. But for now, hats off. Cheers to Dubois for what he did. Dynamite looked amazing, and he is the rightful champion. Takes the throne with another tough and impressive victory. What'd you think of this fight? What'd you think of this card? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you grade Dubois' performance? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. And in the comment section below, what do you guys want to see next from AJ? Leave all that. Let me know.